You open the app, you scroll. Someone posts a vacation. Someone posts dinner. Someone posts a relationship update. Someone posts a random thought that somehow gets 200 likes. Then you look at your own profile. Nothing new. You have photos. You have thoughts. You even have captions you almost posted. But somehow, when it's your turn to share, you close the app. Maybe the photo stays in your camera roll, or you rewrite the caption 3 times before deleting it. You watch every story, but almost never create one yourself. You're not absent from social media. You know what everyone's doing. You like posts. You reply privately. You send memes to friends. You might open the app more often than you'd like to admit. You have things to share, but when it's your turn to be seen, you close the app. Why? Part of the answer is simple. Scrolling and posting don't feel like the same thing. When you scroll, your attention moves outward. You're looking at someone else's trip, someone else's face, someone else's opinion. You can react, laugh, disagree, or keep moving. Very little is being asked of you. Posting reverses the direction of attention. Now other people can look at you, and that can make even a completely ordinary post feel strangely important. Sending a meal photo to one friend is simple. Your friend knows where you are, why you sent it, and what you meant. Posting the same photo for everyone to see feels different. Suddenly, it might look like you're trying too hard. A vacation photo might feel like showing off. An achievement might sound like bragging. A selfie might seem vain. An opinion might invite an argument you never wanted. That doesn't mean anyone will actually judge the post that way. Most people will probably glance at it for 2 seconds and keep scrolling. But before you post, you're not seeing it from their side. You're standing in front of an audience you've created in your head. And that audience includes close friends, relatives, former classmates, co-workers, old neighbors, and people you haven't spoken to in 7 years. They all know slightly different versions of you. So the question is no longer just, do I like this photo? It becomes, what does posting this say about me? A post is not only content, it can feel like a small public version of the self. And not everyone enjoys creating that public version. Social media makes posting look like the main form of participation because posting is what we can see. Quiet participation leaves almost no evidence. You don't see that someone watched 20 stories, sent 4 memes to a group chat, replied to a friend, and saved 3 videos. You only see that their profile hasn't changed since 2022. That person might be shy, but they might also talk constantly in real life. They could be the funniest person at dinner, the one taking all the photos, and the first to message everyone afterward. They just don't feel the urge to turn that evening into a public update. They might send 1 photo to a trusted friend and keep the rest. They took those photos for the memory, not necessarily for an audience. Being social and being publicly visible are not the same preference. Some people enjoy sharing publicly. Others prefer direct interaction. Neither way is automatically more genuine. People who post often aren't necessarily shallow or desperate for attention. Public sharing might simply feel natural and enjoyable to them. And people who rarely post aren't secretly deeper or above it all. They might just have less interest in public visibility. But preference isn't the whole story. Sometimes you really do want to post. You choose a photo, adjust it, write a caption, and reach the final screen. Then your mind creates an audience. Will this selfie look vain? Will people think I want attention? Is the caption too serious, too boring, too personal? What if nobody responds? What if too many people respond? And why has an old coworker you haven't seen in 5 years suddenly become such an important part of this decision? You start adjusting the audience. You hide the story from one person, then another, then 6 more. Eventually, you've hidden it from so many people that posting feels pointless. Or you publish it. Then, for the next hour, you keep checking who viewed it. You notice who has seen it, who hasn't, and whether one particular name appears on the list. The post itself might be completely ordinary. A coffee, a pet, a birthday photo. But knowing that people are looking at something you chose to reveal can still make you feel exposed. Sometimes the post is not the scary part. Being perceived is. That's why deleting it can feel like such a relief. Once the selfie disappears, so do all the imagined opinions. The uncertainty ends. Nobody can misunderstand something they never saw. And that relief makes deleting easier next time. Before long, not posting becomes automatic, even when part of you wanted to share. But discomfort with posting doesn't always mean fear. Sometimes, privacy is exactly what you want. You can return from a trip with hundreds of photos and keep them in a private album. You can send your favorite one to a friend without wanting every former classmate to see it. You can have a happy relationship without making it recurring public content. You can enjoy dinner without rearranging the table for a photo. You can share good news in a family group chat before, or instead of announcing it to everyone. Not every moment needs an audience to feel complete. For certain experiences, making them public changes the experience itself. Your attention shifts from enjoying the moment to presenting it. You stop asking, "Do I like this?" and start asking, "How will this look?" That doesn't make private life more real than public life. A public post can be joyful, meaningful, and completely sincere. Privacy is simply another way of deciding who gets access to a moment, and in what context. From the outside, peaceful privacy and anxious avoidance can look exactly the same. Both can leave you with a quiet profile and a camera roll full of photos. The difference is usually in how the decision feels. Privacy sounds like, "I could share this, but I don't need to." Avoidance sounds like, "I want to share this, but I'm scared people will judge me." With privacy, you decide not to post and move on. The photo goes into an album. The news goes to the people who matter. The choice feels settled. With avoidance, deleting the post brings relief, but there can be disappointment underneath it. You wanted to share the trip. You wanted to celebrate the promotion. You wanted to post one harmless photo without turning it into a debate about your whole personality. Privacy feels like a choice. Avoidance often feels like fear making the choice for you. Of course, the two can overlap. You can value privacy and still overthink the occasional selfie. You can dislike online performance and still wish that one simple post didn't feel so exposing. People rarely fit into one clean category. The point isn't to label yourself as private or afraid, and it's definitely not to force yourself to post more. A more useful question is whether you feel free to choose. Visibility isn't limited to total silence or a completely public life. It has settings. A photo can go on your public profile, to close friends, into a direct message, or into a private album. You might post only when something feels worth sharing. You might create something and decide later whether to publish it. Or you might share good news with 5 people who understand it instead of 500 people who don't. And if you do post something harmless, you might leave it there without checking the viewer list every few minutes. Not as homework, not as proof that you're becoming more confident, just as one option. The goal isn't to post more often, it's to feel that the decision is actually yours. If staying private feels peaceful, there may be nothing to change. If fear is making every decision, smaller forms of sharing can remind you that visibility isn't all or nothing. You do not owe the internet access to your life, but fear does not have to control the door either. So the next time you open the app, the scene might look exactly the same. You scroll, you see the vacation, the dinner, the relationship update, and the random thought with 200 likes. You choose a photo of your own, and you pause. But now, the pause means something. The photo might belong on your profile. It might belong with one trusted person. It might belong in a private album. Or it might not need to be shared at all. And sometimes, you'll notice that you do want to share it. The only thing stopping you is the feeling of being seen. You do not have to turn your life into content for it to be real. But you can still ask whether your silence feels peaceful or protective